that works. Evening, fellow zombies. I'm not going to ask how you are because I know you guys are still struggling and still going nuts. It's been a hell of a week that we had starting Tuesday. Right now, it's about 20 before midnight. Interesting way for me to say it. Thursday, January 9th, 2025. Yeah, I got my glasses off right now. Gotta get them washed. We were in Genesee, Roseman, California, plain and simple at this point. So, I'm hearing too much blame, finger pointing, and righteous anger at this point of the situation of a disaster that happened that people want to get instant answers, instant information, and how come this didn't happen, that didn't happen, why didn't it happen? We want accountability. We want a hand. We want. Because we're angered, we're tired, we're fearful, we don't know what the hell we're doing, and we're going to yell and scream because we don't know anything else better. I know, losing homes sucks. Losing homes and losing businesses royally suck. It would even be more catastrophic if we lost lives. Actually, we did lose lives, about 5, unless we already got more adding up right now. Over something that either people had clearly had the foresight for it, but nobody saw this one coming. Maybe we should have a long time ago. But my thing is right now, we can't do a damn thing about it at the second, now can we? We got fires to take care of. We got homes to protect. Businesses maybe to salvage or not. Maybe they can rebuild or not. And yeah, I heard about the water shortages left and right. And I've been trying to listen to the fire experts. For the ones who are fighting the fire and ones who are in the system itself. And some people don't even trust it anymore. They learned how not to trust the system a long time ago, and therefore they're bitching and belly aching about anything and everything. Even if they happen to get a voucher for a bed, even for a temporary stay, it may not be something. May be cast out as nothing. Because it's not their bed, it's not their home, it's not their business, it's not their in one piece. And they have a right to be angry. One woman is followed by a reporter from overseas. They want accountability. They want answers right then and then. They want to know why it happened. We had pressure gradients happening. Forced winds to blow. And they blew hard. Harder than they predicted. Were they the actual catalyst for the whole wildfire situation? Or did we also actually have arsonists out there? As had been, well, at least one presumably had been an arsonist for the West Hills fire. I don't know if they got that one contained or not. I hope so. But if it was going to be merging in with the Palisades fire, people keep forgetting history. And they'll scream and yell at me for that one. But I don't care. I'd seen it. I'd seen and heard so much crap over the past 50 some odd years. It's not even funny. Hillsides go up. And firefighters had to go out there and risk their lives to save lives and to put out the fires with whatever equipment they had. And we had property burned. We had property destroyed. Maybe they found a culprit. Maybe they didn't find a culprit. Several devastating fires we actually had. We did have culprits, either by accident or by deliberate design. And those are, Well, and who's gal? Arson charges. It's not just a 1 year or 2 year. It's about 10, 15, maybe 20 or 30 years. Maybe we're not getting out alive. I don't know. But they're there, already being punched by it. Meanwhile, people have to pick up and live their lives. As for the people sitting the fires, what about nature sitting the fires? Or nature sitting a disaster left and right? How do we protect and how do we blame on that one? 71 earthquake came out for Silmar. We had no clue of the fault line that was going to be that disastrous, that destroyed buildings and lives. Do I blame state, federal, local, the country? Do I blame the country for the damn geology? We have earthquakes all the damn time all over the world. Do I blame city leaders for that? We had a 94 earthquake that tore apart a lot of a lot of real estate. Took out a lot of lives. Insurance companies damn near went bankrupt. They had issues over this damn thing. They damn near went bankrupt over this shit. We thought our standards were pretty high until nature said, you got to go higher. And insurance companies don't want to do that because they don't want to go out of business. The shareholders and stockholders and the CEO won't even allow it. Now we had a state law in here for this wildfire situation, just to protect the people who've lost property. But here we go. Regarding your property, just how many fires have we had over the past 50 some odd years? Maybe more. Well before my birth. It's gotten worse and worse, hasn't it? If we hadn't recognized that we were affecting climate, I don't know if it's too late to change the damn thing or not. We have to deal with what is, what now, and we have to survive. Period. I had to come to terms with that every time there's been an earthquake. I don't know if it's going to be a rumbler. I don't know if it's going to be destroying homes. I've already been a few of them already. They're not fun. Unpredictable. Random. Nothing I could do about it. Much like the wildfire situation. We had the winds coming up. We didn't expect them to have that kind of severity, but they predicted it. They were trying to predict it, the meteorologists. They were looking at the patterns. They were looking at the stresses. They were making their calculations. That's what they were telling us, the 50-50 long shot, whether or not we're going to begin the harder winds or not. And we got the harder winds. And they blew through. And now we got fires because of it. And yeah, there's been fires happening all over to the Southland here. Either we got it by human design or by nature. Doesn't matter. We got the torch. And yes, there had been a lot of issues concerning about the water situation draining dry. And then the politicians and every other knothead out there pointing fingers. Like that's going to solve the damn situation. You're looking for the anger, you're looking for the blame just to make your damn ego fed. That's all it is feeding their fucking ego. They're not coming out here to help out. Oh, screw that noise. We got to point and blame and say, see these miserable people over here? That's it. They're miserable. It's all your fault. The catastrophe's happening. Oh, well. I'm not doing a damn thing, but I got to point the blame at somebody here. And that's all I see. That's all I've been seeing on social media, not to mention on regular media. The finger pointing on a constant frickin' basis at this point. Okay, fine. You find the responsible culprit. Then what? You still got to find resources to get the damn thing taken care of. Right? No, you got to do more finger pointing at this point. You got the people with the big bucks over here. Are they going to be coming in and helping out? No. They'll leave. And still blame the others. That's what pisses me off at the whole situation. There's one mother on a news I got bounced from station to station on this one. That made her international fame here. And she has a lot of concerns. She's pissed. Her kid's school is gone. The child's school is burned up. He won't be able to go back over there again. Right. If she's still got a home and a car, she's lucky. But if she's not, she's still got a car, she's still lucky. If she's still alive with her kid, she's still lucky. But she's not looking at it that way. She's a victim. So I have to treat it as such. And she's got a lot of anger. She wants to know who she can put her anger on. I don't know if Gavin Newsom understood how the water system worked. In a city, you have city water. You get it from different sources. Fill up your reservoirs as much as you can in the year that you have, because the next year you may not have that resource. So you have to manage it well. You have to manage it at all times. And yeah, you do get fires in cities. You get a house fire. You may get about almost a block fire, or maybe just a small enough fire to put out with water. But did we ever predict that a whole city in different spots at the same damn time would have that level of fire that they could not manage, even with the resources? There is no way in hell they could have predicted this damn thing. Yeah, we knew it about the Santa Ana's doing fire, wind damage. We had lifetime experience on that. Budget things happen. I don't know if we got corruption in the system or not. I don't know if mayors and townfolk are corrupt, that they want more money, they want more resources for their own little empire. Welcome to capitalism. Yeah, things happen in the government. You spew off your own political malarkey over here. Well, if we had this, we'd be cutting down, we'd be cracking down, we'd be blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I heard that. And how many people lose jobs left and right. And once the resources already used up, and how many species get extinct one way or another. But we need forest management. We need to rake up the floor. Yeah, and those have actually been in the service longer than the mouth, or the mouthpieces. And I've listened to some of those experts, and I kind of thought, okay, they know what the hell they're talking about. They've been studying it for years. They may have got more knowledge than anybody else. Cleaning up the ground of everything. Other countries don't have the issues we have. Unless, of course, they have nearly the same ideal conditions we have. Unless they have Santa Ana's going through, they give them histories of fire. Out here in California, we got history of fire. Longer than I've been born. With or without management, I don't know if things would have been better or not. All I know is we're trying to survive this particular disaster. But if I happen to equate it into a geologic event, a seismic event, a frickin' quake, would that relate to you? Because I've been through small ones, and they're nothing. But I've been through a few ones, and they're something. And you can't predict them. You can't take care of this shit. You can only make the materials better to withstand earthquakes. And yes, we have fires. We have fires happening in the hills every frickin' year. We had major disasters happening for weeks on end to nearly months on end. We don't have the geography like any other person or any other place would have. We have a unique geography here. And then we get into, if the finger pointers are still having fun, ideologies, behaviors. So let's attack people for who and what they are, physically, mentally. That's going to solve the situation regarding a fire. This may be a once in a generational event we're having concerning about the fire situation. All I know is each year we were supposed to have seasonal, but now it's 365, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter how it gets started. We're going to have the nut jobs out there who are going to be doing the burning, either deliberately or by carelessness. And they've talked about it every time we've had major fires. You got to be careful what the hell you're doing. But people, being stupid as they are, don't listen. And we pay the price every single time. We shell out the money. The insurance companies go apeshit over this one. They lose their shirts. They lose everything else. Companies almost go bankrupt, and they're saying, screw it, we're pulling out. Pulling out this policy over here. You're on your own. Because we want to survive more than you. And that's how it's going. But you're going to be asking me, how close did I come to fire? I'm having a nightmare scenario that's playing out that I've feared for decades at this point. When you live in a bowl, and I'm going to throw you guys in a bowl. Now, if you guys been watching my video, you know how I work on this one. So when I say Google Maps, guys, let's begin. So I gotta get my damn glasses cleaned. We go to the maps.google. The easiest thing for me to look at. And for you guys, you get to type out San Fernando Valley under the Google Maps app. And I don't give a shit if you're pissed off or not. I'm really going to get you pissed off more. My map defaults to my home, which is in the Antelope Valley, which is the wedge-shaped desert region right above everything. We have scrub brush. We have the easiest, deadliest thing that we're dealing with out here in the desert region. And there is no raking up the desert. There's no raking up the materials that we have out there. We have dry scrub brush. Without any water coming into it, it's kindling. That's how it is. But I show you the worst kindling sometimes. You're looking at the San Fernando Valley. Just look at the entire area. Widen the shot until you see Southern California. And you see the mountain ranges. As within the mountain ranges, you have forests, you have brush, you have trees that A, had been there for decades, and B, probably hadn't been maintained, theoretically, except by nature. If we happen to have a lightning strike somehow, we get fire going on. If we get somebody screwing up with a campfire or throwing some burnt stuff outside, we get a fire going on. If we have wind blowing against, and I mean severe winds blowing against power lines, they snap, they spark, they arc, they ignite. And with that, we get fire. Now, to the water. We're in a drought situation we hadn't been out of for years. We tried to play the game saying that maybe at certain levels we're out of the drought and we're not going to worry about it. But when we start missing water, when we start missing rain, especially during this time of year, when they can't see it in the forecast, when they can't see it on the satellites, that we're not going to be getting the moisture in, we're going to be in for a dry spell. That means we're going to be saving up water like crazy. Only the problem is, the water we're using right now, and the water being charged in the city systems itself, we borrow on that water. We use that water to fight fires within our cities when they're dealing with buildings and maybe smaller fires. Larger fires require heavier resources, as in super scoopers, hopefully ones without a hole in a damn wing, and helicopters going to lakes, going to reservoirs, scoping up water so they can douse it on the damn fire, not to mention dousing Faustcheck to slow the fire's progress. But here's the thing, when we're dealing with city, when we're dealing with internal fires, in comparison to the wildfires we've been having over the past 3 days. All right? Can we get on this kind of level here? Or are you not hip on these kind of situations? Have you never been in a city before where you had city resource managers yelling and screaming that they still need to manage this and you need to cut short on this one, you need to save up on this one? Because they're trying to balance out what they've got for power, for water, for gas. And yeah, there's been people trying to take cutbacks and kickbacks because we have growers out there, we have businesses out there who are willing to shell it out so they can make their business grow, so they can get their money from the public to buy their products. Welcome to capitalism. While we're dealing with a wildfire situation, so let's get into that one. We have the city of Los Angeles. Big, huge, strapping city with a hell of a lot of hungry, thirsty people out there in the suburbs and in the city who need water resources for businesses, for the people, but also for firefighting. Okay? We have fires happening all over the place, and it's draining us dry to a point where we're having a hard time trying to recharge the system. It wasn't created to deal with the wildfire situation or heavy firefighting in our city limits, in the county limits. If we're dealing with the rural, as I said before, we had to get external sources for the water. Maybe we'll suck up Castaic Lake or Lake Casitas. Maybe we'll get some more water from the ocean to dump a pond. Maybe we drain people's swimming pools for it. Whatever it takes. And yes, there would be neighborhoods thrashed. But we never had to draw upon our water resources this heavily before. I am not blaming the officials. You can do that if you want. You can tear them apart, but is that going to put out the water? I actually put out the fire? Is that going to be recharging the system? No. But it'll get your anger out. And they know it. I could try feeling for that lady. I really could. But I also want to tell her, shit happens. And that sucks. We weren't there because we didn't have the manpower. Of course, you could be yelling, you didn't have enough manpower because you couldn't afford it. Did you happen to look at the damn city? Were you actually involved with the city planning? Were you actually involved with the finances? Were you actually part of the city operation? Were you actually part of the system? And yeah, get in their face. I said it before in my videos left and right. We do not like doing three things. Being accountable, being responsible, and being transparent about the damn shit. We want everybody else to be in that way, but we can't be ourselves. We can't be that way to anybody else. Is that going to solve the situation? Is that going to solve their anger? Is that going to solve the fire right now? We're borrowing resources from everybody, but they're also drawing upon the resources what limited we have here and now. We had 2 planes coming from Canada. We have firefighting units coming from Mexico. We've got the Western region throwing out their support to us. We have the National Guard getting involved. About damn time. But we only can draw upon manpower for so much unless we have the water resources necessary. And because we're still in a drought situation, I don't know how much aquifer water we still have left. And they're going to have to divert water from different places to get our systems charged so they can be used for firefighting. They would much prefer getting the water from the ocean. I mean, it's vast enough right there, but it's miles away from some of the stuff. But choppers and super scooper planes, aerial assault we need, but it also depends upon the atmosphere in itself. The atmosphere is a turbulent, gaseous thing. We constantly suck in oxygen and every other noxious chemicals into our damn body. We got the plants producing oxygen. They suck in the carbon dioxide and other things. But we're barely maintaining breathing oxygen out of this tenuous mixture. If that wasn't bad enough, we got the oceans with their own life support. That still gives us oxygen through the water membrane into the atmosphere, and we're still able to breathe something. We still have a combination of gases, but mostly we're breathing oxygen at this point to keep ourselves and every other life form alive. Now, we have pressure gradients moving all over the earth, depending upon solar radiation, depending upon rotation, warming of the waters. There's a lot more factors that I've forgotten about Meteorology 101, all right? But suffice it to say, we have a dynamic weather system, and that is getting screwed over by our own introduction of more and more stuff in the air. I'll just say stuff, that's about it. And sometimes those weather patterns will shift to the point where our normal understanding about what weather is no longer understandable. And we have to adapt to that. It sucks. What we get for regular rainfall, we may not get for another 2 or 3 more years, or we may get too much coming in, and then afterwards dry it up. We have a tendency of using up all that water. We're not really hip on technology or engineering to save every damn drop. If we could, we still would need more because of our own voracious appetite for water usage in many forms. We're still trying to get technology perfected when it comes down for recycling gray water into something else we can use, or black water into gray water that we can still use to water lawns and stuff, make things pretty. But also make the plants survive and thrive so we can get oxygen out of their ass or through their little openings in the leaves called stomas. Very creepy when you look at them under a microscope. Freaks you out. But this is the mechanism of nature. Now, how does that handle with everything else? Because everything else is interconnected. This is an interconnected biosphere we're living on a constant basis that we're screwing up left and right. Crazy people who have billions want to try to make a biosphere on another alien planet, but they can't do anything about their own planet they're screwing up on. Just for their own damn ego. It's not for humanity's exploration, it's for ego. How much money is he going to be getting out of the damn thing? How much more is it going to be worth to him? Of course, we got the politicians still pointing fingers at each other. They're corrupt, they're corrupt, they're corrupt. Blah, 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 blah. Are you doing anything to help solve the situation? Nah, but I just want to do this thing because I want him attention. I want him attention. Look at me, I'm doing this for you. Ah! Social media does it. Regular media does it. In person does it. The only thing that would matter is seeing a woman in pain about her kid who just lost his school. Maybe lost a lot of her friends in the process because they'd have to move away. And teachers also just lost their jobs because of the fires. Now here's the thing. Even if we didn't have the fires, even if we didn't have the wildfires, and everything was copacetic. I raised up the portions and the thing about geology. We're living on a planet of HL. Everything's a constant moving thing in its own speed. Things going under plates and plates moving up. And we got magma moving up in different areas. We've got shifting of the plates up and down in whatever direction. And all this energy is freaking out the surface. And where we're living on? We're living on the surface. We got earthquakes happening on a frickin' constant basis. This is a constant, dynamic planet. Do we not understand this shit, or do we not care? Because simply, it's disturbing our peace. I hate to tell you folks, but get used to the damn shit. I'm coming up on 59 this month. It took me about, let's see, since 1971 to understand that the world's dynamic. 5 years old, I go through an earthquake. I didn't know what the hell it was. It scared the crap out of me. And since then, there have been earthquakes ever since. Some small ones freaked me out a little bit. And then larger ones that destroy neighborhoods. And I still had to get through the damn shit. Like everybody else. But it also made me scared as hell. And still think about how to survive the damn thing. One way or another. Getting back to the fire situations. I've seen so many fires surrounding the Southland at different portions, burning up huge tracts that don't recover for decades. Communities lost up in Northern California. And the politicians, or whatever they call themselves, the naysayers, the egomaniacs, the megalomaniacs, pointing the finger, and they want to get their face upon whatever it is just to build upon their own damn egos. Eventually they crash and burn. Their legacy is already torn apart. They want to be popular. Popular only goes so far, and then after the bloom's popped, you're nothing. Yeah? You want to make sure you build a legacy. So you want to get the biggest fucking head as well. And tell people, look at me, I got a big head. I can sell you everything I want. Blah, 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 blah. I can point out everything else wrong with you. Blah, 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 blah. And then your head gets popped by one thing or another. You're deflated. Then what do you deal with it? Humility, humbleness. Oh my God, that's screwed up, isn't it? That's humanity right there. Good. Makes you understand what the hell you're doing. Unless you want to build up your damn head. Oh, I'm sorry. Wasn't that already split apart already? Not able to be duct taped together? Oh well. But all that hyperbole and all that hot air I just spewed out is not going to help out with damn fires. Except for all those people who are going, finger point, finger point, finger point. I'm blameless, but I blame you for everything. Bite it. And that's all I got to say on it.